Have you ever felt in this game that something doesn't quite feel right with your aiming, or the aiming feels off? And it doesn't matter what you do with the settings, but it just doesn't quite feel right when you're either trying to track targets or manage recoil. Well, it's recently surfaced that you would be right in the fact that something is actually wrong, but EA don't actually see it as wrong. And I'm going to explain exactly what EA have done here and put in the game, which they haven't done in any other game. And I want to start with showing you this tweet, because this is all started on Twitter. So there's a guy called Abdullah that said, so basically, after doing a perfect 360 with Kovac's tool and having zero error in momentum, the aim is still way off when starting to shoot. This needs to be fixed immediately and should be high priority. And he's tagged a couple of the EA devs in there. And Drunksy, who is the community manager for EA for Battlefield, has waded into the conversation and said, yes, we are looking into it. I don't think it's a bug that we are looking at though. Recoil is essentially added to your aim input, so if you move your aim against recoil, it will feel more sluggish. But if you move your aim with the recoil, it will accelerate it. So essentially what Drunksy is saying here is that, let's say like this gun for example, let's have a look at the recoil pattern. Try another one. So this kind of goes straight up, but you'll have other guns that kind of go slope to the right. So what he's saying is, if you're fighting the recoil, so like if I'm pulling down on my mouse this way, I mean I can feel it now. What essentially means is, once you start managing that recoil, your sensitivity essentially drops. So let's say I'm on a 1.00 sensitivity. As I start managing against that recoil, the sensitivity will drop to maybe 0.5, 0.75, and it will start to feel super sluggish. But let's say I'm tracking a target this way, to the right, in the way of the recoil pattern, then it's going to accelerate that aim. Now, this is different to basically every other game that I've played. Call of Duty doesn't have it, Battlefield 2042 didn't have it, and I don't think any of the other Battlefield games had it either. It's literally a feature that they've added in to this game for some reason, and it now makes sense why everyone is saying something just feels a little bit off, and it's because it is. This is the first kind of mechanic or feature that EA have added that nobody's used to, and personally I don't think it adds to the game whatsoever. Now the question is, following these tweets, what are EA going to do about it? And the answer to that is, I don't think they're going to do much, guys. So David Serland has waded into the conversation this morning and said, because he was kind of linked to this Abdullah post, and he said, I'll take a look, as with everything, but full auto AR firing isn't something that is fully designed to be a thing you are supposed to be fully cancelling out. Which is rubbish, by the way, because on every other game you can do. That's most likely when you hit the tap fire or burst wall. So what he's saying with that is, if you hit a burst wall, or like your recoil pattern goes too much or too high up, then you're going to hit a bit of a wall. What he's saying is though, is that too harsh? Possibly, but it's not going to go fully away. So essentially what he's saying is here, I acknowledge what the problem is, or what you're seeing as a problem, but this is a feature we've added into the game and it's not going to go anywhere. So in the meantime, we will continue to basically get this aim on some guns that are worse than this, that just feel completely off. And you get acceleration one way and resistance and slowdown on your sensitivity if you're managing it the other way. Guys, it just doesn't make sense to me, and they need to get rid of it. So I just thought this would be important to highlight, because there's been so many people that I've seen that just say my aim feels off, I can't quite get it right, I'm constantly tweaking settings. Guys, this is the reason. And I'm not sure this is the case on controller. I mean, controller players get 25% less recoil anyway, but I'd imagine it would be on controller as well, because you've still got to control the recoil, so I'm assuming that it's on there as well. But anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, but I thought this is important enough to highlight in a video so people can stop tweaking their settings and actually realise that this is an issue, but EA don't see it as an issue, and this is why your aim feels off. Anyway, guys, if you've learned something new, please drop a like, subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you in the next one.